Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. I wanted to continue on my legend series, and today I wanted to give BS Chandrasekhar, the leg spinner who was called Chandra, and one of the four spin bowlers of that famous spin quartet that India had that dominated spin bowling in the 60s and the 70s. His full name was Bhagavat uh, Subramanya Chandrasekhar, and he was born 17 May 1945 in Mysore. And he actually had polio when he was just 6 years old, and it actually left his right arm withered. But thankfully, he recovered from it when he was 10 years old, and he started playing cricket. He was actually inspired by the great Richie Benaud of Australia, the leg spinner, and that is how Chandrasekhar started bowling leg spin. And he was quite fast for a spinner. He bowled fast leg spinners, and he also tried bowling a lot of different actions when he started playing cricket, even like fast bowling. So that's why he started bowling leg spin with a decent space. I mean, he was also like Anil Kumble bowling. I mean, or like Underwood. I mean, Chandrasekhar had extra pace as a spinner, not like a normal leg spinner. And he was one of the most famous spinners of that time. He took 242 wickets. Anyway, his first test career, he played 58 test matches for India, and he took 242 wickets, and he had 16 5-wicket hauls and two 10-wicket hauls. And in first class cricket, he took 1063 wickets with 78 79 5-wicket hauls and 19 10-wicket hauls as well. So that is a lot of wickets that Chandrasekhar took. And obviously, I have mentioned it before, but just to mention the spin quartet that Manzoor Ali Khan Patoudi found for India, and which helped India dominate cricket with their spin bowling was Prasanna, the off spinner, Irapalli Prasanna, the off spinner, Bishan Singh Bedi, the left arm spinner, B.S. Chandrasekhar, the leg spinner, and then Srinivas Venkatraghavan, the off spinner as well, who was also one of the finest umpires ever. And Chandrasekhar has a very dubious record as well, something you don't want in your name. He is one of the only two players in the history of cricket that has taken more wickets than runs. So that means he hasn't scored as many wickets, runs as he has taken wickets. He has taken 242 wickets, and I think he has scored 167 runs, if I'm not mistaken. That's all he has scored in 58 Test matches. And Chris Martin of New Zealand is the other player who has more wickets than runs. So are two of the most weakest batsmen you'll ever find. But anyway, Chandrasekhar made India proud with taking so many wickets. And in 2002, Wisden selected one of his bowling performances as the bowling performance of the century for India when he took 6 for 32 versus England at the Oval in 1971. And that is the first time ever that India won a test series in England in 1971. It was a three-test match series, and India won 1-0. And B.S. Chandrasekhar took a 6 for 38 at the Oval, and that was regarded by Wisden in 2002 as the best bowling performance of the century for India. So that is a stunning achievement. And I have mentioned in some of my videos that the spin quartet won matches for India outside India as well. And I was critical about the new spinners. I mean, since the late 80s, 90s, I don't remember any spinner winning test matches for India abroad. I mean, honestly, they've won so many test matches in India on the tailor-made spin-friendly wickets, but I can't honestly remember any. If I say I can honestly remember any test match that a spinner won for India outside India, then it should be true. And I am definitely being honest. There isn't a single test match I can remember a spin bowler who has won it for India in England or Australia or South Africa. I mean, it's not in my memory. So it doesn't hasn't happened. I'm not talking about Indian pitchers. And Chandrasekhar, like I said, 6 for 38 at the Oval in 1971. And he also has an amazing record. I mean, in that 1977-78 series that India toured Australia, I mean, India lost the Test series sadly 3-2. But the two matches that India won actually were the bigger victories, much bigger victories than the Australian victories. Australia's 3 wins, I think one was by 47 runs, one was by 2 wickets, and I think one was like 19 runs. The three test matches they won, but one test match that India won was by 222 runs at Melbourne, the third test that I'm coming to, and also one test match India won by an innings and 2 runs, I think. So India lost the Test series 3-2, I agree, but the two Test matches that India won were massive wins, one by 222 runs and one by 1 innings and 2 runs, whereas Australia's win was one by 2 wickets, 47 runs and I think 19 runs. And anyway, I'm coming to that third Test match at Melbourne where B.S. Chandrasekhar created history. That was the first time ever, and I still think it is the first time it has only happened in cricket history where a bowler recorded identical figures in both the innings. He took 6 for 52 in the first innings, and he also took 6 for 52 in the second innings, and India won that test match by 222 runs. So identical figures, I mean exactly 6 for 52 in the first innings and 6 for 52 in the second innings. I don't think any bowler has ever registered identical figures like that in Test cricket. That is a rarity, and probably that record will always stand. Even in that Test series, I mean, India lost 3-2, but two Test matches India won by massive wins, and obviously the spin quartet of Chandrasekhar, Prasanna, and Bedi Venkatraman were taking a lot of wickets. And in 1972, Chandrasekhar was one of the Wisden cricketers of the year. And in 1976 against New Zealand, there was a test match where Rapalli Prasanna and B.S. Chandrasekhar, they took 19 wickets in that test match out of the 20 wickets to fall. If you remember my video on Alan Donald, I had mentioned that test match in 1999 where against England, Sean Pollock and Alan Donald took 19 out of the 20 wickets. So this is a similar thing where Prasanna and Chandrasekhar took 19 out of the 20 wickets that fell in 1976 versus New Zealand. And there's also a very funny incident that happened. I mean, during the Test series against New Zealand, there was a lot of bad umpiring and a lot of LBW appeals that Chandrasekhar was asking was turned down by the umpires. And there was a time where he probably had enough, and he asked the umpire, "I know he is bowled, but is he out?" So that is one of the most strangest thing you'll ever hear a bowler asking the umpire. I'm just repeating. He said, "I know he is bowled, but is he out?" So that is one of the most sarcastic things you'll ever say on a cricket field, and especially to an umpire. But he probably was fed up of the umpiring. I've even heard once a similar incident in Australia where the umpiring was bad by a couple. Instead of saying how's that, you normally ask bowlers. He said he bowled someone out, and he asked the umpire, "How is that?" So just two instances from two Indian bowlers a couple there, and Chandrasekhar showing some sense of humor and sarcasm in dealing with the bad umpiring. But so anyway, B.S. Chandrasekhar, an absolute legend, and definitely the first leg spinner for India who took more than 200 wickets, 242 wickets. And 242 wickets he took. Rapalli Prasanna took, I think, 189 wickets. Bedi had 250, 260 something wickets. And Venkatraman also had close to 200. So, I mean, four of them together, they took plenty wickets for India in the 1960s and the 1970s. And they were the most feared spin bowling combination without any doubt, because, I mean, four of them were a handful, like I said. I mean, and a lot of variety as well. I mean, left arm spin, Pedi, who was amazing, Chandrasekhar with his fast leg spinners, Rapalli Prasanna with his master off spinners, and also Venkatraman, who was also an amazing off spinner as well. I mean, like the West Indian feared pace attack in the 70s, 80s, the Indian spin quartet was very feared by the opposition batsmen. It was regarded as one of the most difficult things in cricket to come to India and win a Test series on Indian soil. So that is my video on B.S. Chandrasekhar, who was called Chandra fondly by the Indian players, and who was one of the leg spinners, who was the leg spinner out of that spin quartet, and who has done wonders for India in the 60s and 70s. Notably, that 1971, India's first ever series victory in England, where he took 6 for 38 at the Oval. and also that special thing about registering identical figures, 6 for 52 in both innings at the Melbourne third test in 1977-78, which India won by 222 runs as well. So that is my video on BS Chandrasekhar. I'm sure a lot of people will enjoy, because the Indian Spin Quartet is very famous around the cricket circles. Thank you for joining, everyone. Please take care, and God bless you.